Welcome back to one more edition of Viper Bites Waiver Wires. We are talking week number 17. So if you are watching this right now, you are on the verge of fantasy football glory. And if you are not quite in that championship game, guess what? We've got some dynasty stash type players that you may want to take a look at right now while they're on the waivers to get you ready for the 2022 season, because there is no offseason when it comes to dynasty, and we are here to help all year round, 24/7, 365 here on the Vipers Network. And let's start this off with the quarterback position heading into week number 17, starting with Taysom Hill. Yes, he is still rostered in less than 50% of the leagues. And next week, he faces the Carolina Panthers. You have to assume he is coming off his COVID protocol. He has missed the Monday night game. Ian Book is the not answer for the Saints. So you can expect Hill to be back to that his QB1 type ways. He has been a QB1 in every game he has started, with the exception of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers game here not too long ago. Now, a couple quarterbacks I'm looking at streaming here this week. Dolphins quarterback Tua Tagovailoa. He has been a streamer darling all season long. And you know what? When you're facing off against a team like the Titans, who were stout against the run, but a little bit vulnerable against the pass, you can expect Tua Tagovailoa and the Dolphins come out here throwing in this contest. I would not be surprised if Tua throws the ball 30 to 40 times. I also wouldn't be shocked if Jalen Waddle sees 20 of those targets along the way. So book Tua Tagovailoa as a solid streamer this week. Another quarterback to keep an eye on here right now. He did show up on the DNP injury report for the San Francisco 49ers. No indication what that injury may be yet. Jimmy Garoppolo. He is a guy that, you know what? Houston, they have a lot of problems. Stopping the run, stopping the pass are two of them, just to name them. So, you know what? You have to think the 49ers are going to come out here and run the ball against the Texans. But you also have to think that with Kittle, Samuel, Ayuk, Jimmy Garoppolo should find a way to get at least 2 touchdowns. And you know what? If Garoppolo is not available, this could be a good spot start for Trey Lance. Now, Dynasty, Tyler Huntley, he is still on my radar for Dynasty. I think teams that need a quarterback, and looking at this draft, I'm not in love with any of these quarterbacks in the draft. Tyler Huntley would be one of the top priorities for me to look at and see if he's available. If Huntley and Lamar Jackson are both out this week, Josh Johnson against the Los Angeles Rams, he is a solid QB2. Now, moving along to the running back position. Yes, if Dalvin Cook is out, you start Alexander Mattison. Yes, if Austin Eckler misses another week due to COVID, you start Justin Jackson. It's that simple. Now, 2 more running backs I'm looking at here. Boston Scott, Jordan Howard. Miles Sanders, he is out with a broken hand, and we've seen what the duo of Scott and Howard have done in the past for the Eagles. I personally like Howard a little bit more. He gives me that goal line type back, and they are not playing the New York Giants, so Boston Scott loses a little bit of value there. Yes, Boston Scott is a New York Giant killer. Both of them are rostered in less than 15% of leagues. Both of them can help you in your flex this week as you go for that championship. Another running back to take a look at here is Dare Ogamawali. Okay, I probably mispronounced his name, but you get the gist here. The Jacksonville Jaguars running back is going to run into RB1, not RB1 for fantasy, but he is the number 1 running back. The volume is going to be there against the New England Patriots. And you know what? We know James Robinson, he is out with that Achilles injury. Tough way to end his season there. But this may be such a sneaky play that even Bill Belichick, he doesn't know who the primary option to stop is on this Jaguars offense because it's been so bad. So this may work out to the Jaguars' benefit here in week number 17. Another running back to keep an eye on, Rex Burkhead, Houston Texans. No David Johnson last week due to that quad injury. Burkhead, he took full advantage of every opportunity he had. 22 carries, 149 rushing yards, and 2 touchdowns. Yes, 2 touchdowns. He also threw in a couple catches. He's got some PPR value, even with David Johnson coming back. If you're looking at PPR, Rex Burkhead, he's a guy who could slide into that flex, and he's got some appeal there as well. Again, San Francisco this week, tough matchup, but again, PPR, I like Burkhead. Now, going a little bit deeper, we know what happened to Clyde Edwards-Helaire. He missed kind of the back half of the game for the Kansas City Chiefs. So you're going to be looking at Darrell with 1L Williams here in your lineups this week. But we also know he's going to be splitting that workload with Derek Gore. No relation to Frank Gore, at least not that I'm aware of. But look, we know that both these backs could be running back 3s each and every week. Both of them can split the run, split the pass. Both can do the job. I like both of them here as, again, sneaky flex plays heading into week number 17, especially the way the running back position has been decimated over the past few weeks. Now, heading over to the wide receiver position, look, KJ Osborne, less than 32%. Rashad Bateman, 30% rostership. Kendrick Bourne, 25% rostership. T.Y. Hilton, 17% rostership. I am not talking about any of these guys, but you need to check to see if they're on your waiver wire, especially in fantasy and Dynasty, because I think all of them but T.Y. Hilton have some value moving forward. Now, who has value this week? Isaiah McKenzie, Buffalo Bills wide receiver. Look, Gabriel Davis, Cole Beasley, they are going to be out again because of the COVID protocols, which means we get another opportunity to see Isaiah McKenzie shine opposite of Stephon Diggs, just like he did last week. And this time, he gets the Atlanta Falcons. Now, McKenzie last week, top target for the Bills, 11 receptions, 125 yards, 1 touchdown in that 33-21 victory over the Patriots. Look, Emmanuel Sanders, he's hoping to get back in the good graces of fantasy managers this week. I don't see it because of what Isaiah McKenzie has been able to do with his opportunities. He is dynamic and explosive. Now, you know me. If you are watching the Dynasty Mustaches kind of series going on, you know I love myself Brampton, Ontario's Joshua Palmer. Things were bad last week against the Houston Texans. I mean, the Chargers, who are a much superior team, lost, and that's the great thing about the NFL. Any given Sunday, any team can win. Now, Mike Williams, he missed last week due to COVID protocols. Palmer in that absence, 5 catches on 6 targets, 43 yards, and a touchdown. That's now a touchdown 2 of the last 3 games in which Palmer has played. Look, the Chargers are going to continue to play Palmer, seeing what they got in him, knowing that Mike Williams may not be back next season, and in all likelihood will not be back. And he will not be in the lineup this week because he has already been ruled out for week 17 due to COVID. So let's turn our attention to the Green Bay pass catchers, Allen Lazard, Marquez Valdes-Scantling. If you can make sense of which one is which, you're better than I am. So I'm going to give you both of them here this week because they are both rostered in less than 30% of leagues. Now, with MVS out last week, Allen Lazard, he stepped up in the big week, looked every bit the part of a wide receiver too. Now, I still believe that Marquez Valdes-Scantling is the preferred option thanks to his speed and his separation ability. So for me, I'm taking Marquez Valdes-Scantling this week if he is back in the Packers lineup. Now, you want some boomer bust options? Kadarius Toney, Robbie Anderson. Toney saw 9 targets last week, didn't do anything with them, but the Bears secondary, they have not been good at stopping wide receivers all season long. And as far as Robbie Anderson's concerned, look, he gets the New Orleans Saints this week, the team that has allowed the 7th most fantasy points to wide receivers. So if you're looking for that boom bust, that home run swing, Kadarius Toney, Robbie Anderson may be options for you. Now, we know that the tight end is a wasteland, decimated by injuries, by COVID, and by lack of production. If I'm looking at Dynasty right now, one of the guys I am targeting, another one of my Dynasty mustaches, is going to be Brevin Jordan. You'll see a little bit of me, another video coming out here shortly about him. But let's talk about Gerald Everett, 30% rostership. Again, that's too low for him right now, especially considering he's got back-to-back 60-yard weeks, and 4 of his last 7, he's got 5 or more targets, 3 touchdowns in the last 5 weeks. Gerald Everett, I feel confident putting him in my lineup this week. Russell Wilson seems to be cooking once again. Now, another tight end, down week last week. Volume is there. Gets Justin Fields potentially back under center this week, which should improve on his 5 targets of 49 yards against Seahawks last week, and that is Cole Kmet. Another guy you can look at starting here, depending on what your situation is at that tight end position. Now, here's some more boom or bust type tight ends for you here as we move on. CJ Uzomah. Kansas City has allowed the 11th most fantasy points to tight ends, and you can expect this game between the Bengals and the Chiefs to be a shootout. Points galore, production area. You got offense every way, shape, and form here. The Chiefs may look to try and limit Jamar Chase. Maybe they look to limit T. Higgins. That means more run for CJ Uzomah. Another tight end here, Tyler Conklin. Yes, he's been a darling much of the season. You grabbed him off the waivers, hopefully earlier in the season. He is still rostered in less than 50% of leagues here right now. He is looking to rebound from last week, and he has another potential shootout against the Green Bay Packers this week. Yeah, and it's always nice to have a little bit of something going Sunday night after the dust is settled from the Sunday afternoon games. One more? Okay, let's give you one more. How about John Bates, Washington football team? I see Ricky Seals-Jones on a lot of waivers. Not for me. I won't get fooled again. Ricky Seals-Jones, your name is getting slapped right up there with Evan Ingram. As guys, I do not trust, will not trust, and I will not recommend from here on out. Now, Bates, he had 12.5 fantasy PPR fantasy points last week against the Dallas Cowboys. So why not give him a little bit of run? I think he's the better option there in that Washington tight end room. With that all being said, good luck this week, heading for those fantasy championships, and make sure you're staying tuned, subscribed, thumbing up the good old-fashioned Vipers Network, because we got lots of videos coming here, little player profiles, some Dynasty stash players you want to get on your roster today before they become household names. And as always, head over to fantasypoints.com and get that subscription today. That all being said, stay tuned. There's plenty more coming down the line.